How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 5000, and now we see the National Hurricane Center has risen its possibility of tropical cyclone development in the main development region for both disturbances, like I predicted yesterday, where now we have a 50% chance of these two disturbances developing into tropical cyclone within the next 7 days, as it seems like the National Hurricane Center has taken the hint from the computer models that they do believe there's at least going to be enough convective activity for these two disturbances to develop enough of a well-defined center of circulation. And if we were to shift our focus a little bit further westward, we also see the chance still exists for tropical cyclone formation. It's still on the low chance as of right now, 0% chance within the next 48 hours, and that's because the tropical wave isn't even in the Gulf of Mexico yet. But we do see the chance increases up to a 20% chance within the next 7 days, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if we do see this chance rise if we continue to see the European model persist on the idea that it wants to develop a tropical storm, because that's what the latest run of the European model been suggesting, where it wants to take a tropical storm landfall somewhere around Louisiana. Here's a current look at the water vapor imagery over the main development region, and these are the two disturbances we're keeping a close eye on. We have this first disturbance, and we do see a scattered amount of convective activity going on. We aren't really seeing a very well consolidated area of blow up of thunderstorms around the center of circulation just yet. However, that's expected to change once this area of convection continues to head further northward, and it's expected that just enough of this convective activity will occur for a tropical storm to form. But it's definitely gonna be difficult for it to strengthen much more than a tropical storm, because you see just so west of this tropical disturbance there's plenty of dry air. And moving on to the second disturbance, we see a lot more convection than this first disturbance, but the chance is for the most part very equal. And the reason why is because this disturbance is expected to head a little bit further northward a little bit earlier, and the further northward it moves, the less conducive tropical cyclone development becomes, or at least intensification becomes, because the wind shear will definitely increase further northward this tropical cyclone moves, as well as the fact that the sea surface temperatures will also cool down, and the dry air will increase because the majority of the dry air is located just to the north of these two disturbances, which is the reason why, despite the higher amount of convective activity we're seeing around this disturbance, a chance is pretty much the same when it comes to tropical cyclone development with the other disturbance that's just to the west of it. Now here's a look at what the European model is forecasting when it comes to the amount of relative humidity in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Let's first start with this Gulf tropical wave that's expected to move in by late this weekend into early next week. So continuing to move forward, here's the tropical wave we're closely monitoring. It's going to be just to the north of Cuba right around the Saturday timeframe, and then eventually approach the Gulf of Mexico by Sunday, and you should expect an enhanced amount of rainfall over Florida and the western portion of Cuba, so watch out for that in those areas. And moving forward with this tropical wave, we do see the convection begins to increase, we see the pressure begin to lower thanks to this increase in convection, and we see a small low pressure system develop just before it makes landfall somewhere between Louisiana and Texas. And what's interesting is that we in fact see the low pressure system potentially get even more organized once it moves over land. Of course, it's definitely going to need more help when it comes to baroclinic instability once it moves over land, because the very warm Gulf of Mexico waters won't be there to supply it with energy and a lot of lift. So it's definitely going to encounter some instability once it moves over Texas. So this won't be only a coastal threat if this does make landfall, like the European scenario is showing right now. We see the heavy rain extend into the northern portion of Texas. Oklahoma gets involved, and potentially even states further northward like Kansas and Colorado. So this will definitely be good news for portions of Texas. You guys have been in a drought over the past several weeks. But it's, of course, it's dangerous to have too much rainfall, and there's a possibility this tropical wave just might bring a little bit too much rainfall and enhance the flash flood risk over Texas, thanks to the amount of convective activity that's surrounding it. Now, in terms of its possibility of developing, so there's going to be quite a bit of moisture surrounding it. However, there's going to be a decent amount of dry air around the western half of the Gulf of Mexico, thanks to a trough that's going to dig down, bring a northerly flow that's going to bring the cooler and stable air mass further southward into the southeast, and that could definitely inhibit this storm from being able to develop into a tropical storm, because the storm will be rather lopsided even when the European model wants to develop a well-defined low pressure system. We see all the moisture is located on the northeastern side of the center of circulation, and there's pretty much no moisture at all on the western half. So when a tropical disturbance is lopsided like that, it's definitely very difficult for it to strengthen much, but we could still see enough convection for this to be considered a tropical storm. So if we continue to see this persist over the next 5 days, expect the National Hurricane Center to increase the possibility we will see potentially Tropical Storm Gert or Tropical Storm Franklin, depending on if these two disturbances develop, whatever it's going to be named. But if we see the European model continue to persist on this idea, expect a tropical storm to be right at the Gulf Coast's doorstep by next week. So definitely at least keep this in mind throughout Louisiana and Texas. What I could assure you though is that you likely will experience an enhanced amount of rainfall from that tropical wave, whether it develops or not. So be prepared for the possibility of flash flooding by early next week, right around the Tuesday to Wednesday timeframe. Now moving on to these two disturbances over the main development region, we do see the European model does expect a decent amount of strengthening between the two disturbances. They start out at a millibar pressure around 1,011 millibars, but we do see the convection will continue to increase surrounding both tropical disturbances once the upper level of winds get a little bit faster, to a point where the moisture could be more aligned with the lower level center, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. We see a stronger storm. I'll say this is definitely considered tropical storm strength at this point, with its millibar pressure around 1,003 millibars. We see a more compact structure with the moisture, which definitely represents a higher amount of rotation and a more closed center of circulation. However, we do see the European model, like it's been saying over the past several days, just expects too much dry air for this to strengthen much more than tropical storm, and it does move quite a bit further westward, and throughout the Caribbean islands are probably thinking, well, this is going to be a pretty major concern headed into next week, because it looks like it's going to head straight towards the Caribbean islands. But the good news is that just before it does, the European model wants to steer this northward, because we do see a weakness in ridging by the early part of next week. Where this ridge weakens, we see a pretty strong trough move through the eastern half of Canada, which definitely digs down, weakens the ridging, and allows an open area for this to move northward and avoid the Caribbean islands, which is certainly good news. We're going to need to wait and see how fast this trough will dig, and of course how deep it'll dig, because there might be that possibility we could see the forecast shift to where it'll bring the moisture a little bit further westward into the Caribbean islands. It's definitely not out of the woods just yet. However, I'll still lean to the scenario that this will likely avoid the Caribbean islands from any direct impacts, which is certainly good news, but don't rule out the possibility the forecast could change depending on where exactly this weakness in ridging will be located. And for the second disturbance, we see a very similar scenario. It does strengthen just a little bit, but it moves northward quite quickly, and the dry air just becomes too much for it to handle, as that seems to be the current consensus from the computer models at this time, which is certainly good news. You won't see a rapidly intensifying tropical cyclone, despite the fact that the wind shear will likely remain relatively light over these two disturbances. Now, taking a look at the GFS model's forecast, and the GFS model is relatively similar, which is the reason why I do have a high amount of confidence that they'll develop into a tropical storm. It won't develop anything much more than potentially a weak tropical storm, because like I said, both computer models expect the dry air to be a little bit too much for these two disturbances to handle, but at least I'm at the very least expecting a tropical storm over the main development region, and we see the GFS model also wants to take these two disturbances up northward, avoiding the Caribbean islands, which is certainly good news. And you're probably wondering, what is the GFS model stating when it comes to this next potential tropical wave? So here it is right here on the Sunday time frame. We see quite a bit more moisture. However, the problem with this area of this tropical wave is that there's too much convective activity over the Caribbean at this time, at least compared to the European model. And what that does is that all this convective activity will fight against this tropical wave for a limited amount of air molecules and convergence, to a point where we won't see this storm become compact enough to or strong enough to have a lot of convergence surrounding it, because it's fighting with many different areas of convective activity for that energy to focus in right around the center of circulation. So as a result, we don't really see this well-defined low pressure system develop like what the European model is stating, but still an enhanced amount of rainfall over southern Texas. So Texas definitely you definitely need to keep a close eye on this, even if this doesn't develop, for the possibility of heavy rainfall. Here's a forecasted amount of wind shear over the northern Atlantic over the next several days, and we clearly do see the wind shear over these two disturbances will be relatively light, which is the reason why I do believe they're going to develop into a tropical storm despite the amount of dry air continuing to move forward with the forecast. And we go to the 12Z run. We do see the wind shear will remain relatively light, but it's only a matter of time before they move north enough to encounter the stronger wind shear, which will force the dry air towards the center of circulation and ultimately diminish any possibility we're going to see a tropical cyclone. Now, in terms of this next potential tropical cyclone in the Gulf of Mexico, it could be under an upper level high, which may not be good news because that would improve the ventilation as well as the outflow of this storm system, and it's going to be in a small area where the center of circulation will be under fairly light wind shear for a well-defined, potentially a well-defined low pressure system to develop. However, we're still going to need to pay close attention to this. The forecast is uncertain regarding the amount of wind shear over the Gulf of Mexico, because it's still the center of circulation, despite being under an upper level high, it's still relatively close to a stronger wind shear. So there's that possibility the stronger wind shear could diminish any chance of tropical cyclone development. But I'll keep you guys updated as forecast becomes more certain. Here are what the European ensemble members are forecasting at this time, and we do see a majority of them want to at least develop this into tropical storm status, but most of them take it northward, which is certainly good news. This is the most likely scenario, as it seems like there's going to be just enough of weakness in ridging. And for this next potential tropical wave over the Gulf of Mexico, we do see quite a few ensemble members do want to develop this into a tropical storm, which is the reason why I do believe there is a higher chance than what the National Hurricane Center is listing for tropical cyclone development in the Gulf of Mexico and a potential tropical storm landfall. So Louisiana, Texas, pay very close attention to your forecast over the next several days. The GFS ensemble members are showing a very similar forecast. A lot of ensemble members for the second tropical disturbance want to develop a tropical storm. However, what's interesting is that the ensemble members aren't as confident as the European model that they want to develop this first tropical disturbance into a tropical storm. However, regardless, it'll most likely avoid the Caribbean islands even if this doesn't develop into a tropical storm. But I do believe the chance is more likely where it will at least attain that status. And for the Gulf of Mexico, you see that very few ensemble members want to take a tropical storm towards the coast of Texas because, like I said, the GFS model expects many areas of convective activity to exist over this area by the time this tropical wave moves through, which means that it's gonna be very difficult for this tropical wave to find enough energy to for the air molecules to spiral around and for it to intensify. So we're definitely going to need to pay close attention to how the computer models shift their forecast over the next several days. And if the European model ends up being the more correct model, then expect a tropical storm anywhere between Louisiana and Texas by next week. So in terms of my overall forecast when it comes to the next potential tropical cyclones, so I do believe we're going to see Tropical Storm Emily and Franklin develop in the main development region. Seems like the most reliable computer models are leaning towards enough convective activity existing for this to have a good chance of developing, as well as the fact that the wind shear should be relatively light. I don't expect much strengthening, much more than a weak tropical storm, but a tropical storm should develop most likely. And for the Gulf of Mexico, I'm still a little bit too uncertain to say, but I'll keep you guys updated once the forecast becomes more certain. But that's it for now, guys, and I thank you guys for watching.